Hello everyone, this is Sushma Venkatesh from Informatica Global Customer Support. I'm going to talk about how to verify address content status, and this applies to Informatica version 9.1.x through 9.5.1 hotfix 2, which is the current version as of today. The agenda for the video is to view the content status of the address doctor files and also look at what each of the output means in the address content status. There are a couple of ways to verify the address content status. One is through the developer tool and the other is through either the mapping log or the session log of an address validation transformation mapping. Let's go to the developer tool here. Log into the MRS, click on the window, Preferences. Under Informatica, there's Content Status, and choose the content service under the domain, and you should see a list of all the files that you have and different dates and different properties for each of the country file. This is a ISO country code. All the countries here are listed from the administrator, whatever you have configured in your content management service, and all the files that are available under the reference data location, depending on the configuration of preload countries and uh, other configurations that are part of the address validation properties. If you look at the address content status for HKG Hong Kong, you would see by default these four types, but there are others which you could choose from. For instance, start date, expiry date, unlock expiry date, unlock start date, the release date, and the data date, country status like active, inactive, valid, not found, and things like that, and the version. So I will go in detail about some of these fields which would be useful in deciding what is the right date to be requesting for uh, address validation file. So the start date is the date from which the file is valid, and the expiration date is the date on which the file is due to be replaced by a newer file, which means that beyond this date, for instance, let's consider HKG, beyond 2011 November 30th, the data of this address doctor file would be expired, but your mappings will still continue to validate. It would still continue to use the old reference data and do the address validation. But if you want the latest update on the data, reference data, then you need to go by the expiry date and request for a latest address doctor file from Informatica shipping. Country type here suggests what type of address mode it is. It could be batch interactive, certified, fast complete, or supplementary, or it could be geocode or cameo. The unlock expiry date and the unlock start date. So the unlock start date is the date on which the license is effective from. The license on the file is effective from. And you cannot use the file before the unlock start date. And similarly, unlock expiry date, the date on which the file license expires, and you cannot use the file after the unlock expiry date. So your mappings would fail if you are not within the start and end expiry date of the unlock start and expiry date. You would also see the release date, which is the date on which the data is released. It's probably not relevant, and it is not displayed in the UI of content status. Um, and You can also look for the data date. It's applicable only for the US certified reference file, and the data is valid only from the data date till data date plus 90 days, and that is applicable for only the certified files. Let's look at the other way of looking at the content status, which is either the mapping log, which I have here, or the session log. Both will pretty much give the same output. It looks exactly the same. But the difference between these two is the mapping log takes the properties that you have configured here under your CMS, but the session log takes everything from the 8050.cfg, which is under your Informatica home server bin location on the Informatica server. Since you should always keep both the CMS and the 8050.cfg in sync, you should see pretty much same output. In case you see behaviors different between the two, then that means there's some configuration different between the two. So I just pick up USA as an example, the batch interactive. Um, the session log will show you the reference data path, the status, the size is the size of the .md file, and the version, the start date, expiration date, unlock start date, expiration date, release date, and data date, pretty much everything that we just discussed. And then the preload type is populated here. If you have noticed, it's not shown on the developer tool. We are still working on it. The preloading type is shown in the session log as well as the mapping log, and also the preload size, depending on what's configured on your CMS or 8050.cfg. You can reference the KB number mentioned here for more details on the various dates that we just discussed. We would love to hear from you if you have any feedback on the support videos. Please reach out to us in the information shown here. Thank you.